The Jurez Cartel, also known as the Vicente Carrillo Fuentes Organization, is a Mexican drug cartel based in Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, across the Mexico-U.S. border from El Paso, Texas. The cartel is one of several drug trafficking organizations that have been known to decapitate their rivals, mutilate their corpses and dump them in public places to instill fear not only into the general public, but also into local law enforcement and their rivals. The Sinaloa Cartel, its last known leader was Juan Pablo Ledesma. The Jurez Cartel has an armed wing known as La Línea, a Juárez street gang that usually performs the executions. It also uses the Barrio Azteca gang to attack its enemies. The Jurez Cartel was the dominant player in the center of the country, controlling a large percentage of the cocaine traffic from Mexico into the United States. The death of Amado Carrillo Fuentes in 1997 was the beginning of the decline of the Jurez Cartel, as Carrillo relied on ties to Mexico's top-ranking drug interdiction officer, Division General Jesus Gutiérrez Rebollo. In September 2011, the Mexican Federal Police reported that the cartel was now known as Nuevo Cartel de Juárez. It was alleged in 2012 that the new Jurez Cartel was responsible for recent executions in Ciudad Juárez and Chihuahua. The cartel was founded around the 1970s, when the leader Pablo Acosta Villarreal was killed in April 1987 during a cross-border raid by Mexican Federal Police helicopters in the Rio Grande village of Santa Elena, Chihuahua. Rafael Aguila Guajardo took his place along with Amado Carrillo Fuentes, nephew of Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo. Guajardo was eventually betrayed and murdered by Fuentes in 1993 and Amado became the leader of Juárez. Amado brought his brothers and later his son into the business. After Amado died in 1997 following complications from plastic surgery, a brief turf war erupted over the control of the cartel, with Amado's brother, Vicente Carrillo Fuentes, becoming leader after defeating the Muñoz Talavera brothers. Vicente Carrillo Fuentes then formed a partnership with Juan José Esparragoza Moreno, his brother Rodolfo Carrillo Fuentes, his nephew Vicente Carrillo Lever, Ricardo Garcia Urquiza, and formed an alliance with other drug lords such as Ishmael Mayo Zambada in Sinaloa and Baja California, the Beltran Lever brothers in Monterrey, and Joaquin El Chapo Guzman in Nayarit, Sinaloa and Tamaulipas. When Vicente took control of the cartel, the organization was in flux. The death of Amado created a large power vacuum in the Mexican underworld. The Carrillo Fuentes brothers became the most powerful organization during the 1990s while Vicente was able to avoid direct conflict and increase the strength of the Jurez Cartel. The relationship between the Carrillo Fuentes clan and the other members of the organization grew unstable towards the end of the 1990s and into the 2000s. During the 1990s and early 2000s, drug lords from contiguous Mexican states forged an alliance that became known as the Golden Triangle Alliance, or La Alianza Triangulo de Oro, because of its three-state area of influence: Chihuahua, south of the U.S. state of Texas, Durango and Sinaloa. However, this alliance was broken after the Sinaloa cartel drug lord, Joaquin Guzman Lora, refused to pay to the Jurez Cartel for the right to use some smuggling routes into the U.S. in 2001. After Joaquin Guzman Lora El Chapo escaped from prison, many Jurez Cartel members defected to Guzman Lora's Sinaloa cartel. In 2004, Vicente's brother was killed, allegedly by order of Guzman Lora. Carrillo Fuentes retaliated by assassinating Guzman's brother in prison. This ignited a turf war between the two cartels, which was more or less put on hold from 2005 to 2006 because of the Sinaloa cartel's war against the Gulf Cartel. After the organization collapsed, some elements of it were incorporated into the Sinaloa cartel, which absorbed much of the Jurez Cartel's former territory. The Jurez Cartel has been able to either corrupt or intimidate high-ranking officials in order to obtain information on law enforcement operatives and acquire protection from the police and judicial systems. The Jurez Cartel has been found to operate in 21 Mexican states. Its principal bases are Culiacan, Monterrey, Ciudad Juarez, Ojinaga, Mexico City, Guadalajara, Cuernavaca and Cancun. Members of the cartel were implicated in the serial murder site in Ciudad Juarez that was discovered in 2004 and has been dubbed the House of Death. Since 2007, the Jurez Cartel has been locked in a vicious battle with its former partner, the Sinaloa Cartel, for control of Juarez. The fighting between them has left thousands dead in Chihuahua. The Jurez Cartel relies on two enforcement gangs to exercise control over both sides of the border. La Línea, a group of corrupt Chihuahua police officers, is prevalent on the Mexican side, while the Barrio Azteca street gang operates in Mexico.